there, everybody. This is Felicity. And last class, we have talked about how to read a sentence, how to remember a word to help you build your English thinking. And today we will move on and tell you something about listening. And I think to start with, I have to discuss a question with you, which is why I have to be good at listening so that I can speak fluently of English. And I think that first of all, you have to understand one thing is that listening is kind of like the basically communicating skills. Supposing that you're talking with a native speaker or some other language speakers, you can't understand them, or you can't follow their speaking speed, which is one of the most frequent or common problems. Like right now, of course, you can listen to me, maybe you can understand me, and some of your teachers, you can fully understand what they're talking. That's because we are trying to make ourselves understood. We're trying to speak slowly a little bit so that you can follow, right? So that's that explains why when some people turns to the movies, turns to the drama, they would find it difficult to understand the people talking. Why? Because they are not trying to make you understood. They're just expressing themselves, right? So their speaking speed is actually pretty fast, and it's very common for these new learners or the second language speakers to not able to understand what they're talking in their own speed, right? And then there are some other scenarios. If you go to the airport, you can see there are a bunch of words in the airports, and then there will be some dialogues, some conversations just happened under that circumstances. And then when we're talking about scientific problems, also there would be some idiomatic language. And if you are not the first language English speakers, you would definitely find it difficulty. So what I say is that you listen to different audios, listen to different materials, get used to these accents, and so that you can get a sharp ear, so that you can understand the basic meaning of what the other people are talking with you, right? That said, what is the best way to be a good listener? What is the best way to help you understand the other people better? Most of the articles online would tell you like, listen more. And that is partly true because studies have already shown like the more you listen, the better you will be in understanding the other people's speaking. That's partly true. For example, I'm learning Tibetan right now, and I really love to go out and talk to those Lama monks in some areas, in different areas maybe. And I would even go into the library, go into the Tibetan bookstore to talk to the salesman there, ask them to read the story for me. And they were so nice, when you're showing your attendance, showing your desire to dive into their culture, to learn about their culture, they would be more than happy to help you. So don't be afraid, try to get yourself into that context. But the point is that if you want to improve quickly, if you are looking for a focused way to improve, I say listen more is not enough. You have to find a better way. And here I recommend an exercise, which is simple but boring maybe. Find a 30-second to 1 minute audio and play it repeatedly, maybe on your earphones, maybe from your speakers, whatever. So just repeat it again and again and again. So say how much you can understand. That brings us to the next part, is how you make use of these materials that you have found, right? The first thing I think we need to figure out is that do not get those simple materials. If you have found some audio or video which you can get like 70 or 80%, it means that thing is too easy for you, right? You can get basically most of the meaning of this one. There's no point. When you are choosing the material, choose the one that you can barely understand. Maybe you can understand like 20 or 30%, All right, that's good. That's okay. So use this one, and then take a notebook, write down something, write a name on that notebook, and I would strongly recommend you to use the paper book, because from my own experience, I always find that writing is like the most direct way for you to memorize, to think, and to understand deeply of the thing that you're trying to note down. So take a notebook and write down something like listening notebook, and turn the page on. The first thing, do not haste to write the sentences. Make a note of yourself. Say how you have improved. Write down something like week 1, day 1, and even the date if you want to. And then you start listening. So this is how you do the practice, how you do the English listening practice. And all these materials, they can be news report, they can be dialogue, they can be lecture, whatever. And things may happen when you're listening to these materials. You are stuck. You got stuck in like one word. You're just wondering what the word is, right? Maybe you have repeated it for like 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you still didn't get it. But don't get mad at yourself. Get patient, be patient. Next time, and try guessing. Guessing is the best way to understand the word that you hasn't met before. So according to what is the last sentence and the next sentence, try to guess the word by yourself, and then you listen again, say if it makes sense. This is like the first time, and then after this one you can repeat this one the day after that. You may spend 1 week on this same passage. Don't haste yourself, and don't rush to say I have to finish a new one every single day. That would be impossible, and to some extent that doesn't work. After this kind of practice, you may find that listening to English is not difficult. That's the time you can change the material. You can change the material into something harder with accent, especially like the Indian accent. Like you can find something with a British accent. Accents are always so tricky. Let's say you are living in a countryside, right? In your village, and the village nearby yours, there can be a tiny little difference between the dialects, right? Because that's what's happening in my hometown. Sometimes if I have spent too long outside in the cities, maybe when I go back to the village, it would be difficult for me to understand some of their, dialects, because it's still different. It's just different. So that's a way why you have to challenge yourself all the time. Next time I will show you some listening practice, and yeah, see you next time.